appeal to itong mga landlords, the owner of lahat na, malls, bazaars, big stores, whatever, na merong mga anong tawag nito, yung franchise nila sa may mga different stores selling different anything. What you have is you own the big building to be rented out. Marami dito sa kanila po, gusto ninyo na magbayad ng 50% even if they are not operating. Actually, I am at a loss really to explain to you how. But you know, when you collect from somebody who is not earning at all, it's practically flogging a dead horse. Kung patay na yung kabayo kasi gaano kakampas dyan, hindi na mabubuhay yan. And that is what's happening. If they are not earning, where will they get the 50% to pay? If not the 100% is going to collect. So, it seems to me it's something that I would like to appeal to the owners of the buildings, of the malls and everything. Ganito na lang, just pray everybody has a God. Just pray that the vaccine, ang target nila is September. I think China will be able to distribute, if I'm not mistaken, and the other countries are catching up. Everybody is at it, so they are really trying their very best. Kaya lang, itong China, hindi ito hambog. Wala itong ere, but they work, and I'm very sure that they will be the first one of the countries that will be able to come up with the vaccine. Lahat ganito is
anong meron insan ko na Demi? Demi.
Mga rental sana.
Demi madala.
Oh, wala.
Should be a
anong meron na
should be
reply ko nga.
DTI.
Wala.
And there can be some
Wala,
sort of
katuwaan lang.
adjudication process to fix this problem. Ako naman, nakikiusap, nagmakaawa, dahil nga talagang, if you're not earning, how are you supposed to pay? So, maawa naman tayo sa mga kababayan natin. Let us help one another. If it does not really spell bankruptcy sa inyo, hindi tiisin na lang ninyo with nothing except your saving to tide you over. Baka sakali makatulong yung appeal ng gobyerno. Remember that the nation is still, the entire nation is still under quarantine. Let us move to the so-called new normal as we, let's see what develops ahead. I think kung mayroon lang bukas, I will be the first to announce. But, alam mo, remember, the COVID microbes are still in the air that you breathe, that you pass on to your fellow men if you are not ready or willing to wear the mask. It is precisely, this is the protection, not for you, if you do not want it, but for the protection of the other guy. And that is why the state has every right to control your movement if you pass on a contagion to the to the population. Kasi kung ikaw lang ang gusto, ayaw mo, and there are people who are like that, ayaw nila. And they believe that they have the antibodies to fight the coronavirus. So, if the virus is there, tapos gusto mong labanan, bahala ka. But for you to pass the virus, if you get it from one place and from another person and pass it to the other guy, that's different. That is where the right of the state comes in. So that to prevent a mass contagion, gusto namin putulin kung saan namin putol to stop it. That is the reason of the essence of the police power of the state to come up with measures to protect public interest, public health, public safety. Lahat nandiyan yan. Case of peace and order, magkagulo, the state comes in. Yung may contagion and everybody is dying, falling, kasali yan. Public interest is a uncontrolled movement or maski people trying to seize other people's property or things like just being into a state of anarchy. The state has the right to come in and put a stop on it. It is the survival of the Republic of the Philippines. This is the country of Filipinos who obey the laws. If you do not obey the law, that's your problem. Bahala ka. Good. Kung makasibat ka. Kung hindi ka makasibat, ay pasensya ka. And that goes for everybody. That should be made clear. Hindi kasi ng tao na they take for granted violating the law. Now we start a program. We'll start with Secretary Brunen because I think that the foremost in the minds of people. Right, Ma. Let the cameras be trained to.
Thank you, Mr. President. My statement will be very short. It's based on a letter which I wrote to you after you made your statement about not allowing the opening of classes during the time of COVID. And so we are here from the DepEd to assure you that we are one with you in your uncompromising stand on the matter of the health and the safety of our learners and our teachers. You said I will not allow the opening of classes na dikit-dikit ang mga bata. Para sa akin, bakuna muna bago andyan ang bakuna, okay na. We are saying because there is confusion and anxiety among Filipinos, families, especially the parents. We are here to state that we are one with you, Mr. President, in this non-negotiable commitment. It is the first and the most important principle when we work out our learning community plan with all the details. We stated this also. The first and foremost concern is the health and safety of our learners and our teachers. Mr. President, there has been a confusion among our people who associate the opening of school with what we describe as face-to-face classes, where we are used to learners, we are used to teachers facing each other, and we are used to children going to school physically. But we are saying that there will be no face-to-face classes and sessions until we are assured of the safety of our children and our teachers. However, we also believe, Mr. President, that we can provide learning opportunities to our students without necessarily requiring them to go to school. And this we can do through what is described as blended and distant learning. Mr. President, this is not a new thing. We have many universities and schools which offer distant learning in many ways. We now call it blended learning because various approaches which are adjusted to the actual situation of the communities will be applied. But these are all, Mr. President, consistent with your preference that we should not be physically sending our children to school if it is safe to do so. What is the so-called blending or learning modalities? Because right now, there is a bill which is filed in Congress. One, for those who don't have connections, who don't have interactive facilities, there will be what we describe as printed material, which will be delivered to homes of the students in the barangays. It can be picked up also by their parents at designated places. We then coordinate the schedules. We'll be working very closely with the barangays and the local governments. And the second approach is now very popular, Mr. President. This is the online learning platform, and we in DepEd, we have what we describe as DepEd Commons. Right now, we already have over 7 million subscribers. We're in lessons, homework, quizzes, tips to learners and to teachers are all in the DepEd Commons and are accessible even to the parents. So we have instances, Mr. President, of parents who are abroad and who are monitoring what is happening to their children. They also go to the DepEd Commons and check on how their children are doing. Now, in cases, Mr. President, where there is no connectivity and printed materials may not be available immediately, we have the classic long-time approaches which have always been used in education, and this would be television. Those homes which do not necessarily have connectivity and may have television. And the most and the best used approach, of course, is radio-based instruction. Kasi ang television, mga 1950s, 60s, radios have been around since the 1800s when it was first invented. And we know that 2 world wars were won through radio messages and not necessarily computers and so on. So in printed modules, Mr. President, we have a description of what it entails. And then also, on the matter of online, ito yung popular talaga. It's gaining popularity, online distance learning with already 7 million subscribers. And we assume here that they have access to internet. And one worry is, how about the students and the teachers? Do they have access to laptops? We made a survey, Mr. President, of teachers. More than about 788,000 of them find out whether they have laptops or desktops in their homes. More than 80%, nearly 700,000 have laptops or desktops in their homes. Because teachers acquire these for various uses, family members abroad, or friends, etc., etc. So this is a very, very popular mechanism for dispensing education. Now, for those who don't have access to interconnectivity, then we have television. Right now, Mr. President, 15% of television time that's provided by law should be dedicated to programs designed for children. So there are already existing educational programs on television station. What we need to do is to utilize these programs to transmit curriculum. And we are working out how to do this. For example, Mr. President, PCOO is volunteering its TV facilities and also IBC 13, which is radio, for the utilization of lessons through radio and television. Radio and television for those who don't have access to a computer. Now, radio-based instruction is quite popular, Mr. President, because right now, municipalities are volunteering. Usually, municipalities have their radio stations. Cities have radio stations. There are local radio stations, and big networks also have radio stations. And many of them have lessons, which yung tawag nun is schools of the air. Mayroong mga religious groups, they give lessons in agriculture, lessons in whatever sciences over the air, because alam nila not everybody has access to television or to online computers. So ito yung ancient, pinakamatandang paraan for teaching as an alternative to face-to-face. Mr. President, what we are doing in the regions is, the regions are different from each other. Some regions have many islands, some regions have many mountains, some regions have interconnectivity, and so on and so forth. So what our regions are now doing is to translate a curriculum from lecture, we teach lectures to children for long periods of time. It has to be translated one into digital codes sa platforms natin, into television programs, because children have to be through in a different way. Iba yung effect ng television programs because their attention span can be very brief as well. And then also converted into radio script. So this is where much of the work is now being concentrated. What we are saying, Mr. President, is that we fully and completely support your stance that our children should not be exposed to the dangers of COVID-19 physically, but we are also offering opportunities for them to continue their studies and their learnings. And some people
Use
ask
smoke
us
grenade.
what we are trying to do, Mr. President, and not really new. Hindi naman ito bagong invento. Because distance education, many universities have distance education. Many local governments have radio stations. We are utilizing existing ways of communication without necessarily requiring our children to go to school. So they can still go to school, they can still study. Teachers can monitor them as well as their parents. So ito yung namin, Mr. President, which we would like to share with you, and we seek your approval of our alternative ways of learning. These are already in school right now, and these are being done by many schools. But this time, mas malaki ang emphasis because we are now shifting to less
syempre, mabawasan yung mga nagkakasakit. Adjust tuloy ka. Eh, kayo po dyan sa barangay hall, kamusta po?
Ay, ito, okay naman kami. Matindi na, pinag-iingat natin yung mga